Hello, good day. I'm Hannah Gamerswell, a Bachelor of Physical Education student. And for today, I will be going to discuss the quality differentiated instruction. So we have here the learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, students must be able to define what is differentiated instruction, know the four elements of differentiate, and lastly, understand the importance of differentiated instructions. So what is differentiated instructions? So differentiated instructions refers to the instructors providing their diverse class with a range of ways to understand content in the classroom. So to differentiate instructions is to recognize students' varying background, knowledge, readiness, language, preferences in learning, interest, and to react responsively. So, differentiated instructions is a teaching approach that tailors instructions to students' learning needs, and it lets students show what they know in different ways. So, each student works at different pace for different reasons, and that is why differentiated instructions is important. Differentiated instruction meets each individual student's needs, and the first part of differentiating instructions is figuring out what students know so teachers can help them to learn. So, the intent of differentiating instructions is to maximize each student's growth and individual success by meeting each student where he or she is and assisting in the learning process. So differentiation means tailoring instructions to meet individual needs, and whether teachers differentiate content, process, products, or the learning environment, the use of ongoing assessment and flexible groupings makes this a successful approach to instruction. So we have here the four elements of uh, four elements to differentiate. So we have the content, the process, the product, and the learning environment. So first we have the content. So content refers to the various activities that help students learn information. And we have the process, refers to the various learning styles such as visual or auditory methods, and while the product describes the end result of a project to demonstrate comprehension. And lastly, we have the learning environment, which is include a flexible classroom with group work. So we have here the examples of differentiated content. So instructional content consists of concepts, knowledge, and skills that students are expected to learn. So however, not every student comes to the classroom with the same prior knowledge. So we have here the examples of differentiated content. So first we have explicitly teach definitions of grade level vocabulary words before reading a story. Second, play videos and presentations to fill in content gaps before introducing a new concept. So, di ba, mas nindot og kahibaw jud ka og kahibaw jud ka og unsa imong content, then it is very important to present ay kanang videos about sa imong i-discuss. So next, we have also the highlight important information or key terms in a text. And then lastly, bring graphic organizer into the classroom to help students organize and understand their own learning process. So those are the examples of differentiated content. So next, we have here the differentiated process example. So students with various learning styles process information in different ways. Some students require one-on-one attention from a teacher in order to grasp a concept. So others may benefit from independent work sessions, and you can adjust the learning process in your classroom in a number of ways. And some of these strategies include, so first, play audio recordings of stories while students read along to assist both auditory and visual learners. So you can play audio recordings of stories sa inyong mga students para mas dali sa ilaha makasabot sa inyong lesson. And then next, use learning apps that permit students to work at their own pace. So like for example sa karon na ato ang online class, so di ba natin mga gamito na mga application para mas madali or mas easy sa ato sa mga students na ug asa sila komportable na kanang naa sila ma-learn. So di ba mo na yeah. And then next, we have also allow students to choose to research topics by interest rather than assigning a prompt. And then lastly, we also have create learning stations for groups to rotate through and use an instructional aid at one of the groups to check for understanding and help struggling readers. So those are the examples of differentiated process examples. So next, we also have here the differentiated product ideas. So use these ideas to change up your product expectations in a differentiated lesson. So giving students option of how to express required learning using rubrics that match and extend students' varied skills levels, and then allowing students to work alone or in a small groups on their products, and lastly, encouraging students to create their own product assignments as long as the assignments contain required elements. So that is the differentiated product ideas. So, and lastly, we also have here the differentiated learning environment examples. So, a student's learning environment includes a physical classroom and the student's affect, which is their emotional attitude toward education. And both of these factors can have a huge impact on educational success. Here are some ways of modifying the learning environment for every student in your class. So first, making sure there are places in the room to work quietly and without distraction. So it is very important that you have a classroom climate which is um, layo sa mga distractions. So kanang dili ka ma-distract sayon inyong mga estudyante. So mas maka-focus sila sa imuhang gi-discuss, maminaw sila sa imuha. So next, we have check in with students' emotional health using classroom journals, one-on-one talks, and behavior charts. So as a teacher, so you also need to be kanang naa ka sa naa ka para sa imong students maminaw og unsa ilang problema ug unsa ilang kinahanglan. So need po kag communication. So need po ka makipag-communicate sa imong estudyante. Then lastly, setting out clear guidelines for independent work that matches individual needs. So sa classroom, so it is very important na maghatag ka og guidelines, rules para sa inyong mga estudyante to have a positive classroom climate. So in conclusion, with differentiation in the classroom, instructors can manage what students learn, how students learn, and how students are assessed. So with its flexibility, differentiated instructions allows teachers to maximize individual growth in the course content. Moreover, differentiated instructions combines individual, group, and full class education techniques. One of the largest benefits of differentiated instructions for students is that it incorporates many different teaching styles that will guide the students. So that is why differentiated instructions is very important, especially sa teachers. So mo siyang gamiton para makaibaw ka kung unsay kinahanglan o unsay imo angay buhaton para mas makaton ang imong estudyante sa imuhang gitudlo nga lesson. So these are my references. So that's all. Thank you for listening.